to one of our staff. If you send it to Anne-Marie Allen or Siobhan Young or Kelly Wenhold or Emily Irwin, that would be great. And we're lucky today. We have Barb Maty, who is our instructor today. And Barb's been a realtor for over 32 years. She's a full-time realtor for the RE/MAX 440 office in Doylestown. She's a member of the RE/MAX Hall of Fame. She's past president of the Montgomery County, Montgomery County Board of Realtors. She is a director for BCAR and for PAR. And I'm thrilled because she is the co-chair of BCAR's education committee and I get to work with her. Before Barb begins, we're thrilled to have one of our affiliate members on with us today, and she's just going to tell you a little bit about their business. It's Stacy Hines. She's the marketing director for one of our long-standing affiliate groups, Inspection Professionals. She's been their marketing director for 8 years. She's been a CPA for 25 years, and she is a member of BCAR, GPAR, and Tri-County for the past 10 years. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Stacy, and thanks a lot for this program, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Lisa, for inviting me. Welcome, everybody. I know you're going to have a great class with Barb. I've sat through some of her classes, and she's fantastic. So my quick little commercial for Inspection Professionals is obviously we are a full-service home inspection company that specializes in home, residential, commercial, stucco, termite, mold, radon. What sets us apart from the regular home inspection world is that we do not believe that we need to find defects to justify our fee. We justify our fee by the education that we give our clients. If we don't, it doesn't say that we don't find defects, but when we deliver them and how we communicate them is definitely the difference. We take a lot of pride in establishing relationships with our clients, and we believe that the relationship doesn't end until the clients stop calling us. If they need help a year after an inspection, we are still with them. So I only get 2 minutes, but if you have any questions at all regarding any of our services, please feel free to email me or call me directly on my cell. Have a great class with Barb.
Stacy, you can put your info in the chat if you'd like, and this way they'll have it.
Great, thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Stacy, and on to you, Barb.
Stacey. All right, thank you, everybody. Glad you could join us. I hope you all had a good weekend. Today we're just going to start with learning what we can about RPR, just to get an introduction to it. I will tell you there is a lot available for you through this website that can teach you a lot more about it. And I think and hope that you're going to find this tool to become a more useful application that you're going to use more with your business. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is, what is RPR? So it is actually developed by our National Association of Realtors. It's part of their technology company. They wholly own it. It is a parcel-centric database for residential and commercial properties. So it gives you a ton of data to go back into. It was built exclusively for realtors. Our clients do not have access to it. Only we do. It's part of our membership with them. It is meant to be one of many tools that you're going to use. It's not going to stop you from still wanting to use your MLS. It's not going to stop you from still going into some of the community sites that you're going to be able to use, or from what your provides for you too. But it does give you a good depth of information that you're going to find useful. So where do you access it? The key point to this, it's not rpr.com, it's narrpr.com. So when you get a chance to pull that up, you're going to need to create an account. I'll let you do that on your own after we're done all of this, but I will tell you that you will need your NERDS number. And I don't know if you guys do the same thing I do, but the wonderful thing about Suburban Realtor Alliance, if you're on that site all the time, they need your NERDS number too. So that's a great way to go back and remember what it is. So, all right, today, what we're going to do is we're going to explore RPR. we're going to learn what an RVM and refined value are and what the difference is between those. We're going to walk through creating a CMA that is going to help us look at some of the reports that are available from the site. We're going to look a little bit at the RPR mobile app. I will tell you that it doesn't transition well onto my screen, so I can't dig a ton into it, but it is a very useful app. And if those of you are familiar with how much fun we're having with the transition from Bright to their little app, you might find that this one is a little bit more useful. But the good news I can tell you is that Bright is going to be doing something to change that shortly. So I look forward to that new change. You're also going to be able to share market reports. This is going to provide for you an opportunity to be able to link your social media accounts to it and be able to use some productive tools to post some good information. So with that, we'll go on to what are the pricing tools that RPR has to offer with us. Refining the RVM, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at comparative analysis, what a seller's report looks like with that. And then we're also going to look at a sales comparison analysis and what we can create with that. Sorry, I got to move some of the pictures around. So hold on one sec. Okay, so what is an RVM? It is a realtor's valuation model. It's an estimate calculated using public available information, meaning it's not just on the MLS, it's also using a public properties that have closed off market. It adds the MLS active, sold, and off market data, and it's a highest accuracy evaluation product available. And it's refinable, so you can make adjustments to it. Just find out where I am here. Hold on one sec. Let me go to the next slide. All right. So, realtor's valuation model. It's a blended valuation. It's one that's only available to us, and it is a starting point. It's not the total trigger, but it is a starting point for us. So you're going to see here, it's going to give you an estimated range, but you're also going to be able to see the confidence score. We'll look at that in a little bit. We're going to see what the monthly change, the RVM month change is. And in some markets, I don't want to say where we may be going, but watching and seeing what that may turn to could be important for us for the year coming up. So the confidence score just shares with you that if you're seeing 5 stars, then you're probably within 10% of that price. It's going to depend on the comps and how big of a swing you have with the comps and pricing. 4 stars is going to take you to 15%, and 3 stars is going to take you to 20%, and you can see how that breaks down there for you. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let me switch over in my screen. And this is what you're going to see when you pull up RPR. So it will load up first with all of these buttons that come up with the guided tours. And when you click on them, they're going to walk you through, hey, what does this mean? So I'm going to take that off for now, but I do want you to know when it first pops up, you're going to see it there. And if you click over on the 3 little dots, you can close that off. So, let's go over here, and I'm going to pull up a property that I know a little too well. And I'm going to show you some of what you see when you first pull up just by plugging in a property address. So it's going to bring up the Google Maps picture for the property. It's going to allow you to see a little bit more about it. You actually can spin around, see what the neighbors look like. You're going to be able to basically do a lot of what you do with Google Maps, but it does give you a little more information, especially on these off-market properties. You're going to be able to see what they have stored for size and for property size and for the basic facts about the property. And as you scroll down, you're going to be able to add what changes you can about that. So maybe we're going to be looking at a property, they've added another bathroom. So you can go in there and update some of things that public records may not have quite right. Like here, I was able to add, there is a basement square footage, and what is it? Public records is loading the property with no garage, but there actually is a 2-car garage with it. There, for some reason, public records has the heating source is oil, which it is not, it's actually gas. So you can also update if is the basement finished, those types of things about the property. It's going to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit more about the interior and the exterior. And then it's going to give you more information also about the local schools. And by the way, I'm not going to get too far into it, but there are school reports for every school district that are out there, and I think they're awesome. If you have clients from out of the area that are coming in and you just want to give them school reports so they know just what they want to think about with where they're going, you can get that off of here so that they have a little more confidence to be able to do some research on it. All right, and then you're also going to find the deed history and the mortgage history on the property as well as you scroll down. And you'll also see for this area what the estimated price changes have been over the lifespan of their ownership. Okay, now going back up, what I want to show you with this, because we're talking right now about refined value. So you're going to be able to go in from here and edit some things with that value. Now, I told you I know this property well. I don't know if you all saw the name that was associated with it, but it happens to be mine. So with that, what does refined value mean? So what refined value means is it's going to let you, if you've recently done some new changes to the property, it's going to let you load some of that information in. And then it's going to do some adjustments based on the date for when it was put in, or here, I'll show you. I'm going to put in that we did, when did we do the roof? Did an asphalt shingle roof, and it was done 2018 June, and it cost about $6,500. Couldn't get that done now for that. I did that. So if I add that in, oh, it's depreciated down to $2,500, but it does help and show some of the improvements. Now, any of you who know my husband, don't add this in there. If you're looking to, if you know you need a kitchen or a bathroom, or you're estimating some of that, you might want to throw some of this in so that you can adjust your value based on that. And I will say, I think this is a great tool to be able to help us come up with where we feel like we should be for our clients that may not be considering or may not be fully aware of what they need to do to update their homes. So you can see I added some of that there, and then it lets you go in and talk about what are your local market conditions? What's the exterior condition? Is it equal to some of the comps that you have out there? Is it, what's the interior condition like? Am I a little worse? My lot size is definitely bigger since I'm over a half an acre than some of the others. What's my view like? Well, actually, my view is pretty good. The privacy is excellent. I back up to 8 acres of woods. So nobody sees back there. So how does that affect my value? And you'll see that some of this can change where those numbers fit. All right. So if I'm originally pulling from estimates of properties that have sold, but I talk about the changes that I've done, it's actually going to drop my value a little bit. All right, let's go back to our slides. This up. So what is the other comparison tool that we have in here? It's called the comparative analysis. And this works a lot like what you're familiar with the CMA. the thing that this does is it does work with pricing per square foot, just to give you a range. It's going to look at the lowest priced property per square foot and multiply that number to come up with what the low range of the comp range is, and then also the highest priced property that you're using as a comp per square foot to come up with the high ranges. And then give you what a CMA result is for that. Now, how are the adjustments calculated? You're going to be able to move with a slider, whether you feel this is the strongest comp, then you're going to be able to give it a higher percentage. If you feel this is the weakest comp, you're going to be able to lower that percentage. The total percentage of all the comps that you use will have to add up to 100 at the end. So the more comps you bring in, the less weight you're going to be able to give to one particular one over another. But it does allow you to adjust based on who's the strongest and who's the weakest. And then it will do an average based on the pricing for the comps that you have included. So a sales comparison, how you make adjustments, how are they calculated? It's starts with the comps value. So it's going to look at the sold prices, the list prices, and the estimated values, etc. Any adjustments that are directly added or subtracted from the comps value are also going to be considered, and the value of each comp is then going to be given its weighted percentage, multiplied by its weighted percentage to come up with that price. So a sales comparison analysis, the adjustments, you're going to see when I pull this up, it's going to make a little bit more sense. There's two different buttons to click for which way you're doing this. So the sales comparison is going to be more like what your appraisers are doing. And it's going to apply a percentage based on how similar the comp is to the subject. If you had a lot of adjustments to the comp property, and the more alike a comp is to the subject, the higher the weight will be given to it. Okay. I'll show you more. This is going to make more sense when we see the actual activity on it. So sales comp analysis is auto weight. You can choose to just do it automatically to weight that comp, or you can choose to weight it equally so that the system weights all the comps the same. All right. So let's take a look at this. It's going to make more sense when we get into it. All right. Sorry. Now let's go back to CMA. All right, so we're back on this same subject property, and we're going to go in and search for comps. So I'm going to show you an edit with this. So when I search for comps around this property, you can either do it through the map, or you can make some of the changes to the area based up here. What I like to do is to use geography, and if I scroll down, I pull up the school district. And you can see from the map then the buttons of the properties that are going to be popping in. So if you click on the button, it's going to give you a little bit more details about this property. It's going to tell me what this house looks like, what the age looks like. You can scroll on down and take a more look at it. I believe it opened up in a second button. So I'm going to cross out of that and go back to where we are here. Now, as you scroll down on this side, you're going to tell it what you're going to accept. Do I want just sales within the last 3 months? Do I want them within the last 6 months? What's the range? Okay. What size of a property do I want? 3 bedrooms or more, 2 baths or more? Well, how far apart do I want to be from the living area square footage of what I'm looking at? How big of a lot do I want to go up to? If you check the boxes on the side here, it will include that in the search. If you don't want to limit it to that, you can leave that box unchecked. Now, also, once you shrink these up, some other areas come up here. So you can look within a price range that you feel is reasonable. and you can go to year built. So one of the things about this property is that it's surrounded by a lot of neighborhoods that are built in the 50s and 60s, and not so much where this was built in the late 80s. So if I don't want to be just dealing with the properties that are in that older range of age, if I want to be looking at more of the homes in the area in the school district that were built in the 80s to 90s, I want to make sure that I'm checking this. And actually, I think with this, I want 2005, and I want to go to 1980 and check that. And then if there are key things that you're looking for, like a pool or something like that, you can add that in there too, so that it will just be looking for those. So if you click the search button, it's going to bring up these properties. You will see in this map area that it's going to bring up even bigger because the map got bigger, but you click the buttons, look at them, and then decide which ones you want to accept. Okay. As you scroll down, you're going to be able to add them, click to an add to a comp, because this looks like it certainly does come up. And then others, you don't have to. So it's already has a good basis of the comps that I've already made in there. And if you want to update that, sorry, you have to get down to the bottom. It's really fun to move these pictures all around. Sorry, guys. All right. Go back up. All right. So we're going to go back. And then we are going to look at the adjustments that we put in and how we do that. Apologize for the background. So this is where I was saying that you can make your adjustments by, is this property a lot like this one? Is it a little different? The area make it different? How does it look to you? You can go worse, you can go better, and you're going to see how that changes the value by doing that. And then scroll down and make sure you click next to see the others that are in here. And make sure you play with that so that you understand where your comps are fitting. All right. Let me save this. Okay. Once we have done all of that, you can see with what we've done with that, that it's actually coming very close to the same report that we did a few minutes doing the other version of it. So what does this report look like? You can just click the report. And you're going to get a broad choice of reports then that you can run. You can run the property report. You can run even just a flyer. You can do a seller's report. And they're all based more towards, well, they vary in pages. As you can see here, the mini report is 12 pages. The valuation workbook is 74. So it really just depends on what you want to do and how you want to customize it. And you can click on it and add or delete pages. You don't have to have everything in there if you don't want it. If you don't want the history of the photos, if you only want the comp analysis and not the refined value, you can take that out. You can take the mortgage records, whatever it is you feel you don't need in there, you can do that. And then click run the report. And it will generate and then come to your email after it comes. It'll tell you, it rings like a doorbell when it tells you that it's got the report ready for you. All right, rather than me just keep talking, does anybody have any questions on this? There you go, there's my door. Anybody had a chance to play with this before? You can unmute yourself. All right, so you're
Hi,
gonna
Barb. Good
see.
afternoon. This is John Petty. Quick
John.
question for you. So I use this on a daily basis. I love this tool, and especially for any out-of-state potential clientele. It's been a lifesaver in giving validity to properties as well as schools and neighborhoods. But the question I have is, today I learned the adjusted value that you had shown. If you play with those numbers, will it save and generate in the report that you send to your client, or does it just do the generic because you just click the button and all those numbers are already pre-populated?
It should save. I mean,
Okay.
I've gone in and changed that report. I've changed that report 3 or 4 times while I was playing with this. So it really should save. It comes up however you saved it the last that you do. Okay,
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for adding that in. I've used this report too. In fact, I'll show you one of the other reports that I've been doing. This is where it turned out lifesaver for me. Well, I don't want to talk too soon about it, but I did go up to Northampton County to show a property, to actually sell a property recently. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with that area up there, but it's the Greater Lehigh Valley area. And the property that we put under contract is a 1850s farmhouse that is out in the country. It's only on a 1.2 acre lot. Several of the homes surrounding it are not far from, it's like it was an old village at one point with maybe about 8 to 9 homes in that area that are similar in age. And then the rest of the homes that were surrounding it, your open farmland, or in some areas where they did develop a little bit more recently, it was 1960s ranch homes that were built on 2 or 3 acre lots, those kinds of things. The first appraisal that came through, because this dated back to 1850s, wanted to only work with recent comps and didn't want to go any further back than 3 months. So they went all the way out to Northampton Borough, not the township, but Northampton Borough. This is actually Lehigh Township, is what I should say, Northampton County. And they went to a borough and pulled houses on small lots that were built back in the 1800s in a very busy, more downrun borough location. And they went as far as 4.5 to 5 miles out to use these, as opposed to using some of the things that were closer. And when I decided to do some digging on this, because it was easier for me to get into this, I was able to pull up. I'll show you some of these properties as this loads, because this first property that closed that I have right here closed the first week of October, and it's only 2.35 miles away, but it was an off market, it was public records sale. So this was a private transaction, and they didn't even include this. They went 5 miles out and didn't include an off market transaction. So I shared that with the appraiser. And then this property right here, 0.17 miles away, same age, also built back in 1820. had sold in the early part of November last year. And we still have very similar market to where we did then. And they weren't willing to use that. So these were two of the comps that I used to try and challenge the appraisal. But I can't tell you that that appraiser really liked what I said. So we have another appraiser going back now. But it is a useful tool to be able to cross not just your MLS records, but also public records and see if there are any other strong comps that can help you with that. Now let's get back to all right. Let me get back to my slides and see where we are, just so we don't lose sight of track. All right. All right, those are some of the cool tools. Oh, let me go back before I get into the mobile app. So, as I was saying before, you can set up in your filters. Now, I don't want to go to the report. I want to go to the search. You can set up in your filters to search public records. So when you're doing the search, let me pull that property back up. All right. When you're doing the search for comps, let's get into the CMA. Well, first and foremost, this is the button that you want to make sure you run both ways. And if you, this is asking you whether or not you have an appraiser license and if you want to see it. And I think by digging into this a little bit, this is what's going to tell you exactly how they go through their reports and what they do for it. What I'm going to do is share with you
the sales comparison analysis feature is a simple but powerful way to evaluate a property using area sales information as well as competitive listings and produce a detailed record of your work that can be saved or printed. This feature models the kind of in-depth evaluation that is performed in an appraisal. The sales comparison analysis goes into more detail about the subject property and comps than the RPR comp analysis feature, which models the CMA. The sales comparison feature has been designed with input from Realtor appraisers, but any RPR user can access it. Many agents will find this feature useful for creating a CMA, BPO, or other valuation analysis. In the sales comparison analysis, a user is led through a series of steps to confirm or adjust the factual information about a subject property, and then to search for and select comps. After adjusting and weighting the comps, the user receives a sales comparison analysis result that summarizes the valuation and range for the subject property. The user can also generate an optional valuation workbook, which creates a rich archive of the facts and trends that support the analysis. The key difference between the sales comparison analysis and comp analysis features is the extent to which the subject property information and comps information can be reviewed and adjusted by the user. Sales comparison analysis is geared for valuations professionals who want to methodically review and adjust a great many details about a property and comps and save their work in workbook format for supporting their valuation and for future reference. Comp analysis is intended to help agents in pricing discussions with clients and in generating price ranges that are both quantitative, based on comps and market information, as well as qualitative, reflecting the user's knowledge of the property, the seller's motivation, the neighborhood, and the market.
Okay. There are lots of those little videos that are in here that you can use for digging down and understanding what we have here on RPR. All right. What I was going to show you in the search, let's see for comps, is that you can set the, you can set it to exclude distress, but you can also set it, I guess I didn't do it in here. You can set it to pull public records, which it does. I think it's easier to see in this report up here. Sorry guys. There's a squirrel up here in more filters. All right, when you pull down the more filters, this is where you can make sure that you can add the distressed properties. You can, gosh, it's been a while since I did this, but there is a place in here for MLS as well as, oh, right here, public records. You click this box right here, you're going to also include public records for your type status. And where you're going to also find that useful is if you want to do, sorry, if you want to search, let's do this. Montgomery County, what's here, Bucks County. And you want to search for distressed properties and say you want to do a mailing and see if you can get ahead of anybody that might be running out of time with their mortgage. In the entire county right now, there are 442 properties that are fitting into pre-foreclosure or foreclosed homes. And all you have to do is click on the top here for mailing labels. And you can now print all the addresses for those types of properties. It doesn't have to just be distressed properties. You can turn around and say a certain subdivision. So let's say Wood Hollow. Montgomery County, that's where that development is. Oh, come on. Well, they're not distressed. So let me clear my filters. Why is this taking so long to load? I apologize. All right, let's do a property search. Okay. All right, this is from an old search, and I must have had some settings on this. But anyway, you can search based on just the neighborhood, and again, pull up the addresses and get them printed with labels. If you want to do mailings to a community, if you're getting it just listed, just sold, those kinds of things you can do. All right. Now, let's get back to the slides. I want to show you the other nice thing I love about this is you can download this from here. I'll also show you one where you can scan it from here to download the app. There is also, once you get into RPR, an easy button to push to be able to download the app and get it on your phone. The nice thing about this app is that it actually integrates with your laptop version. So if you run a search and you save it, or you look up a property in it, you're going to be able to find it on your phone as well. I find it a great tool to search properties when I'm in a neighborhood. If I'm showing a property to a client and I want to know what the others have sold for in the area, very easy to pull this together, run the search on that address, and then see what else is sold recently. And it gives you valuable information that you can talk to right away. All you have to do is you can click from list to map to list, whichever way you prefer looking at it, and you can set your filters up. Definitely a tool that you want to play with. So these searches that I just did on my laptop will actually show up here. If you're out and you want to be able to research it a little bit more, it already knows what your history has been. And then the other cool thing, and I'm going to show you this as well, is you can either from your phone or from your laptop share neighborhood reports or market activity reports to Facebook and your social media. It's a really great tool to be able to generate that kind of content for your social media. So let me jump back in real quick and pull this up. So let's go back to home. And if I drop down this card again, if I click on RPR mobile, there you go. It brings up the same QR code that you can use to download that app. I'm gonna collapse it and let's go to research. So let's say we want to search Montgomery County, no, Bucks County. Okay, once it pops up. All right, this is going to show you what the trends have been for Bucks County. It's the median property value, where it's gone. And you have some ways that you can adjust this. So what are the new listings looking like? So this has been over a great number of years, but how about we just go to 1 year? So we're seeing some peaks, but doesn't look too bad. But let's go down to pending, sold. This is what I found very, very, very interesting to talk about. Where is our market going? And I took it from 3 years, from a larger, I think it was at 5 years before. I took it down to 1 year. And this is a pretty catastrophic change. 29.2% change in 12 months. Well, I felt that was pretty interesting and that should be shared. So if I clicked on share, this is where it takes you to the inventory change. And I clicked on Facebook. Share to my Facebook. Do I want to put it in my feed? What do I want to say? Still talking. Okay. Click post to Facebook. There you go. Simple and easy to do. And you can also throw it on Twitter and LinkedIn and more. You can put it on Instagram as well. They've got a platform for all of that. Okay. I think the last things I have in my slides, if I can get them back up here. I think that you want to check out these resource pages for RPR. You want to make sure you go to the training center so that you can learn a lot more about what else is out there. And there are webinars that they also do. There's a whole schedule for them. You'll be able to see where they're coming up. All right. Can we open it up to any questions? I think we have maybe about 5 to 10 minutes left. Is there any other questions that are out there? Anybody want to share what their experience has been with RPR? Have they had a chance to work on this? Anybody? John, any more you want to jump in with? What have you found most useful with this?
I just think it's a great tool, especially when you run into things like for sale by owners and you're stopping out. You can pull all of their information up before you even knock on the door and have such credible intel, as well as anybody that you happen to run into that says, hey, what's my home worth? You can shoot them in within 5 minutes, get their email address and shoot them an email with the 70-page documents of what their comp analysis looks like. And it just makes you such a credible source of information. And it's that wow moment, right? It's the why use me. I have this intel that you're going to want that will help you make more money in the sale of your property. So it's a sharp tool. I really like it.
I do too. Do you like the, I find that the, I don't know if it's the sources or what, but the maps, the different versions of the maps that you can use, from the Google Maps to the satellite maps. Really?
Yeah, so I would love if my map would stay zoomed in. It always zooms back out, so I have to play with it to zoom back in. But I will say, especially at open houses, when somebody's in your open house and maybe they're not interested in that house, and you say, hey, well, look, there's 10 other houses within 5 miles. I'll be more than happy to take you to these other places when we're done, and set up your next appointment. So I think it's just an awesome resource. It's a great tool, and I was very happy when somebody showed me. So I use it all the time.
Yeah. I find that there's a new thing always around the corner with it too. I found that the flood maps are actually on there too.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the flood maps on there.
Yeah, the flood maps are actually on there if you need to figure that information out. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Quakertown area, but the borough of Quakertown, it's amazing what you find that's sitting in a flood zone in there. You never knew it was there. So sometimes if you're showing properties and that's a question, you can still find that there. So anybody else want to share what their experience has been? I haven't had a chance to look. Is anybody in the chat asking questions?
No questions in chat.
No questions in chat. All right. Well, that's pretty much the bulk of what I had for this. I just encourage you to take some time to rpr.com, play with it more, download the app, and jump into the classes that they have on there. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. All right.
Barb,